Hello, this is Seal Chan, and this is episode 11 of my Minecraft Survival Long Play Let's Play. And I will be showing you what I did for round 11 of my progressive gameplay. Okay, let's take a walk. We are in Savannah Dewar, location of the home base, and I did a little bit of work up here. We'll take a look when we get back down, but first thing I want to show you is next to the mayor's residence here we have the builder's residence. Apparently I lost the builder's residence to someone having taken over a building, so I went ahead and built a new one. I decided that I would continue to try to tuck in to my original location here and start building up the side of the plateau wall. And again, we'll take another look from a distance, but I guess after all this time, I've decided that this generation here is definitely intentional. I think Minecraft is trying to make their building placement work even on a steep slope, and I guess at this point I'm inclined to agreeably work with that. So I created this lower platform here and gave it a good base and put the residence of the builder there. So let's take a walk down here. Alright, we're at the center of town. Let's see if we can get a view. Yeah, something of a view there. You can see how I didn't change this at all, so this is how the vanilla generation took care of the sense of an extension of the cliff, or the side to where you could reasonably believe that a building could kind of perch there. And I went with that sort of design and created this additional platform here. Yeah, so that being an overhang, it kind of adjusts some of the mob pathing. It was my belief anyway. I did also kind of reduce the size of this waterfall a little. Yeah, it will keep the mobs from being able to spill out and over into the sheep farm. Now this is the sheep farm. I think I've expanded it slightly from before. I think my standard's going to be when creating a pasture for a passive mob, I'm going to put 6 of the mob into a single pasture of roughly 49 squares, 7 by 7, and that'll just give me a guide as to how big to make the area. I've managed to get some cows going and expanded that as well, so that's the rancher's work. Let's go out the door this time. Alright, and so the builder built that residence for himself, giving him a new home. The next place here, maybe I should approach from the top of this still as yet to be determined structure. Let's go over this way. I discovered during recipe research the fletching table and decided I would build a version of the vanilla generated structure, the Fletchers House. So that's precisely what I did here. Instead of using the acacia wood, I used andesite and oak wood. Those were what I had most of. Let's take a closer look. You also may notice this kind of a catwalk here. That's to control mobs descending from the cliff face. So any mobs above this region, if they come straight down, they'll be held here. They won't drop below and into this area. There's a couple of staircases I cut into the cliff face here that will allow the mobs to descend and enter a room behind the Fletcher's house. I also converted the kind of temporary strip mine just been sitting there into another of what I call a mob dark spawning room. So just like below under the ground here in the cavern, I have these relatively dark rooms that should support mob spawning even during the day and give me access to mobs when I want them for their drops. So anyway, if we approach this area, let's take a look at the Fletchers House, or the Fletchers, call it the Fletchers Workshop, but it's the Fletchers House. Here's the fletching table. It has no UI interaction. You can't craft with it, but it is an effective job site block. We'll convert a unemployed villager into that profession. Someday we'll get villagers back in here. I've also added a chest for the storage of raw materials and really arrows, and I think we'll have arrow and bow crafting done here once I officially discover the recipes for those items. Here's a spider somewhere. Yeah, there's a spider in there. He wants to come and get me. And I can pretty casually attack him from here. He can't escape. I don't know if he can fit in here even. But I have door access to these rooms. And yeah, so it's another experiment in controlling mob spawning. I have a 2 wide step down from this room to the other one. Don't see anything spawning in here at the moment. Oh, yeah, see, there's a creeper. He's back up in there. Now I can sit here and attract the creeper's attention, and then also kill him without much risk of explosion. Come over here and carefully open the door. I was actually able to pick up that gunpowder without opening the door. Yeah, so it's a pretty good example of the fact that I can now access mobs at some slow rate currently. I can get mobs to spawn in these dark areas. Again, the more I explore down here and light up all the way down to the bottom of the Y levels, that should force more and more spawning to occur in these selected dark areas. Alright, so let's see, we've taken a look at those things. Yeah, so the hunter, I suppose, is kind of the individual who would be responsible for building these resources. And I wanted to say that because I wanted to add that the hunter was able to get a full stack of string and bones. So we killed enough skeletons and spiders to collect a stack of those mob drops, and that means that each of those now will be researched in crafting research in the research lab. So we'll be able to discover the bow and the fishing rod and other items. So I've brought us here to the veggie chef, who's going to become just the plain chef. Just to show you that I officially established the chef as crafting, or at least supplying, melon slices as well as bread. So now I start the cycle of picking up food. Instead of going to the automatic chicken nugget farm, I can come here and get a little variety of food, some fruit and some carbs, and start building out a more complete meal, or food supply. So the chef here will now be able to officially supply those 2 food items. We walk over here, you can see that this ranch now sports, let's see, 3 light gray sheep, I believe, and 2 browns and 1 black. I had some problems with losing sheep. I think it has to do with continued issues with Bedrock, where mobs are lost when you leave the game. I think these issues have to do with mobs maybe wandering across a boundary, what do they call that? It escapes me. You know, the 16 by 16 area. Yeah, well, you probably know. Anyway, so I continued to, because since I was losing sheep, I had to come back multiple times and use wheat to get them to spawn babies, and eventually I got this population here to persist pretty well. And that's the work of the rancher. The rancher also, we've just had an accumulation of wandering trader llamas. You can't breed these guys, but using the lead, I saw firsthand for the first time just how great the caravan works. So I decided I'd corral some of these guys up, as well as collected a couple of, or 3 wild llamas, and so I could start breeding those. These guys are going to come in handy because I'm going to require of myself that in order to move stacks of resources from one town to another over land, I'm going to need to use some sort of shipping mechanism. That shipping mechanism could be a llama. Oop, I just sat on the llama. Didn't want to sit on the llama. I gotta figure out how to access its inventory here. Let me see. Nope. Anyway, I'm gonna have to look that up because honestly I haven't actually done that. Maybe I need to put a chest on them. Anyway, you put a chest on them, or however you set up the llama to transport items. Fill up their inventory with the blocks, and then take lead and bring 1 or more llamas from one site, one hamlet or village, to another in order to transport those blocks. And yeah, that's extra work and extra time, but it's part of the light role-playing aspect that I am wanting to do. It also creates a reason to care about creating some of these farms, as they all have a place to play in the overall organization of the series of villages and locations I'm going to put together. Here I was able to harvest the melon farm, and I was able to replant the whole thing, but it grows so slowly here because, again, I don't spend that much time out this side of the base, so it is a continuing problem. I may decide to just eliminate this melon farm in favor of the extremely healthy melon farm I have back over at the Fletchers Workshop. Last but not least, I did a little bit of another build here. It's kind of an experiment. Wanting to capture mobs on this side of this cliff, I created a spring which waters flow down to this side, and then all the waters flow in this direction, so it kind of just sweeps the mobs off of this way. This is still open. I haven't had too much of a problem that I've noticed with the mobs actually penetrating through here, partly because we have it blocked with this backwards flowing current. We have not had any axolotls spawn in this that I've seen, or even any squid or glow squid, so I suspect this area might be too high in elevation. In any case, another experiment, another little design technique here. So that concludes the work that I did here in Savannah Dewar. There's another llama that needs collecting. So why don't we take a walk out to Trident and see what's going on out there. Yeah, let's go this way. Alright, as we approach Trident here, you might notice there are a few more trees. I did expand the acacia grove. Also, the dirt moat that protects this little area is expanded a little bit, and that's mainly because I wanted to create what's going to be the center of this little hamlet. Rather than create a well, I decided since I needed a community storage area, I would model a kind of little outdoor marketplace based on the vanilla generated marketplace, the Savannah type marketplace, which is like a meeting place. And so what we have here are soil resources, in this case sand and dirt, tree drop resources, just acacia for now. We do have a couple of oak trees are part of our grove in this area. Stone resources includes granite. As you recall, I explained, well, way out this way we do have a stone quarry and a cavern. And these are other drops: plant, crop, mob, fish drops. So yeah, I'm going to keep these, bring them back to the other base, I think. So anyway, yeah, so this is the center of town. I've been experimenting with how to develop sites from scratch to something short of a full base kind of village, but I realized I need to start with where the center of town is. Now, we did have the port over here, but the port's necessary. Oh, look, it's raining here. Because it's part of the connection of this place to the other port, which we'll go to next. But for this being a land-based town, it needs a center, and it needs somewhere for the community to store its resources, so that's why that's here. It's also capable of expanding its road system three wide in any direction from here. I'll just move these lighting torches. And yeah, so that's how I want to really start the development of any site, is to have the center of the town defined by a well or a meeting place, and to kind of build out the interior roads from there. Let's see here. Yeah, and so for lighting, I expanded the groves. I did put down some just regular torches here and there, but mostly I expanded the groves, so we have a much more wooded environment here. And I think due to the proximity of this part of the savanna to the ocean, we're getting rain. I don't remember ever seeing rain in Savannah Dura itself, and we're still in the savanna here. So, alright, let's take a trip. Sugarcane lamps are growing nicely. Helps me to see the entrance to the port from a distance. Here as well, to help guide myself from one port, the port of Trident, to another, I have this kind of cane lamp, sugar cane lamp, and this one. Now the canes don't get to grow very quickly because you don't spend a lot of time here, but eventually they will, the more I travel back and forth. This llama has been swimming all the way from what I call Ice Bay now. There's another cane lamp. As we come into Ice Bay. Alrighty. Some changes have gone on here as well. I experimented here with something I call the Builder's Camp. So rather than create the Builder's Workshop, I think I'm going to try to just have a simple chest, crafting table, furnace setup. In this case, I actually have it as a covered area. It's nice and it's raining, and it's also dark. I think I need to go to sleep. Seems like a short day. I wonder if there's a eclipse. It's just rain. No, it's nighttime already. Okay. Anyway, I think I might actually just stick with something simpler in the future. Just the three, the storage and the two crafting machines just tucked away somewhere. This site does not have a central area yet, and I think I will be correcting that in the next round so I can bring that building plan in line with my current way of doing it. So the forester established a oak grove. I planted out several plants, so take that. Several trees here. It's to give us the basic wood resources. We don't have anywhere to gather that. That's a community location yet, but that'll also be a goal of the next round. This here is actually a dirt moat wall, 2 blocks high. I just kind of let this water flow happen. Sometimes it sucks in the drowns other mobs and collects them in the center there so I can harvest them. That wall actually extends to here imperfectly, but it creates a barrier. So the digger was able to obtain some dirt that way at this site. Also, I had the opportunity to attempt my first sand quarry. There wasn't an obvious mountain anywhere. There was a bit of a higher peak here. I had the digger just go ahead and kind of level off this area. I felt that maybe if I leveled this and then I was ready to build, that would be kind of a good combination. So this could become a terrace that would hold a residence, and we could start having some villager homes here. Kind of fill this area out. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go, but I think the first step's got to be to establish the center of town. So I will do that. So that's the quarry, the sand quarry. The digger, and I suppose the miner technically can pick up these sand stone blocks. I have access to that. I also went ahead and tried to find a stone quarry, and as I wandered around here a bit, I found there was a cavern not too far away. Now, to protect the area from very ample overnight mob spawning in the desert, I surrounded this natural cavern with a sandstone wall. And the cavern has 2 arms, plenty of cave to explore here, and it looks like I went down at least that far just to kind of get a sense of what was available. Looks like we have access to stone, and I believe over here it's mostly just sandstone, and this actually runs out here, so you could carefully harvest sandstone, maybe in a one of those rooms that I like to do. Create some more mob dark spawning rooms. But yeah, so I worked again, kind of like I did in Trident. Although I wouldn't say I rushed through, but I think at a faster pace I created a bunch of farms and quarries all at once in one round, and it worked okay. I think I would rather kind of space it out more, take my time. So in the future I'm just going to do little bits at a time and just really gradually build out these places. You know, it gives me an opportunity to... I can't believe that dolphin's actually stuck there. If it wanted to swim out, I'm sure it could. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Missed that jump. Maybe the last thing I could show you is just this path. Let's take a walk. This path leads along the this riverbed, which is mostly dry, as it passes through the desert here. And it brings us to a place where the river is much wider and actually has water in it. And I think before, in the previous round, I showed I created a little port there. So this is just to document that you can walk on level ground all the way out this way to where the river just opens up and stays pretty open. Oops, keep missing my thing here. Actually, I didn't really create a port here. I kind of thought I did. Which means, you know, like I would put in some cobblestone and light it up a little bit. But you know, it looks like I may have just gone with the idea, this is how I wrote it down, and then it's been a little while, of opening this up. Now, yeah, that would be too far to go, but you see the desert village, which is the next village I'm going to develop, is right over here. Looks like I might have some more work to do here. I would have thought maybe I built the port, but I guess I built the path to the port before I built the port, so I'll make sure I update my notes on that. And yeah, we'll take care of that in the next round. In any case, here where the river opens up and flows freely, we are close to our desert village, and it's going to be the last, well, it's going to be the next site that I'm going to develop, and it's going to be a full village, so I'm looking forward to doing that. Any case, this is Seal Chan, and this has been the summary of what I did for round 11. And I hope you enjoy this, and I am looking forward to continuing this series. I've been moving slowly and pretty busy in my real life, but I'm still very much enjoying coming back and doing these videos. I may do some additional types of videos to create a more varied content, so stay tuned.